What's up, everybody? Good weekend to everyone. My name's Jeremiah. You're listening to the Hill Shadows podcast. And with me, as always, is Ashley.
Hey.
And if you're a fan of the unknown, the supernatural, the strange, paranormal, hit that subscribe button. That's the type of content we cover here. Or if you have a story you'd like to share with us, you can reach us at hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. There's been a lot of stuff going on this week. For me, it's been a lot of not sleeping good. There's been a lot of storming and rain, and I'm fine with that, but I don't like it happening in the middle of the night, and it has been a very large burden for a lot of folks in eastern Kentucky and, people in St. Louis and other places as well. There's been some really bad flooding, and a lot of people have, lost their homes or even worse, their lives, and we just want to keep those people in our thoughts, and keep them in our prayers as we go through this weekend. And it's been some crazy stuff. Aside from the raining, there was some news that kind of has to do with the paranormal this week, and that
Cryptid, anyways.
that's right. Not one of my favorite cryptids, but a lot of people. It's a famous one for sure. It's the Loch Ness monster. I don't know how you guys feel about the Loch Ness monster.
I think it's one of those ones that are up there pretty high as far as like a possibility of it like truly being real.
Well,
Matter of fact,
evidently,
number one for me.
in Morocco, I think these scientists have found fossils from the first freshwater plesiosaurs. And these fossils belong to several adults and a baby that lived in a river system 100 million years ago. Which means that it's very plausible that there could be such a creature alive today, or maybe at some point in Loch Ness. So that was pretty interesting. And as far as just news with me and us, we've been seeing a lot of strange things in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of weird things.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why so much?
Well, one thing I wanted to get into, it just kind of, I don't know, man, everything seems, you almost got to bring it back around to how are these things traveling, and how are they doing it so frequently and not being seen, and where are they coming from and going to, right?
Right.
A lot of people theorize that maybe they're using portals to get around. And as I've always said, a lot of people think Bigfoot and other cryptids are interdimensional, and maybe even aliens could be interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And looking into that, I got into some pretty crazy stuff, man. I went down a little rabbit hole when it comes to wormholes and stuff. And the amount of people who have seen, I'll say, for some reason it seems like Bigfoot's the number one thing that comes up when you look for like people who have traveled through portals or whatever.
Bigfoot?
It seems like it's really high up there. Like maybe there is something to them being interdimensional, because a lot of people claim that not only have they seen or perhaps traveled through a portal, but they've also witnessed.
But some people also believe they're cloaked.
Cryptids when they were there. People claim that they could possibly cloak. They may be able to dematerialize.
Yeah.
Or they may be able to travel through different planes of existence,
Right? I mean, I know that we've had something happen down in the woods behind our house where, what was it, last spring or the end of last summer? I believe it was end of last summer.
Right, yeah.
We were down there, we had just moved here, looking around, and it sounded like
That was like when
an elephant coming through.
I knocked on that tree, right?
Maybe.
I was just being silly.
I just remember it sounding like an elephant coming
It
through
was
the woods.
very
Only there
loud.
was nothing
Like, it
there.
literally stopped me dead in my tracks, and I was just like, paused me for a minute.
I just knew something was about to come out on us. Like, we were done for. But nothing was there.
That's one of the most confusing things about the subject matter is that there's, a lack of evidence, or people are more or less blown away by the fact that there could be 8 to 10 foot tall things out there that somehow we can't find or get good footage of for whatever reason. So, I mean, it makes you wonder, could they be traveling through maybe wormholes, or could they be using their own energy to make these things appear? Maybe there are certain areas where, like they say, like the veil is thinner than it is at other places.
I mean, I'm open to whatever.
Well,
I think it's possible.
Looking into that, I wanted to look up wormholes, right? Because why not?
Tell me
it has to do with space and time.
Of course.
And I found this kind of fascinating because actually, it's one part. I don't want to get in. There's a whole lot you can get into, and I just wanted to talk about time travel, basically, and when it comes to traversable wormholes and the possibility of time travel. And then we'll get into some other stuff as far as portals and possible reasons, explanations for people disappearing, right in front of other people, things like that. But a proposed time travel machine using a traversable wormhole might hypothetically work in the following way. One end of the wormhole is accelerated to some significant fraction of the speed of light, perhaps with some advanced propulsion system, and then brought back to the point of origin. Alternatively, another way is to take one entrance of the wormhole and move it to within the gravitational field of an object that has higher gravity than the other entrance, and then return it to a position near the other entrance. For both these methods, time dilation causes the end of the wormhole that has been moved to have aged less or become younger than the stationary end as seen by an external observer. However, time connects differently through the wormhole than outside it, so that synchronized clocks at either end of the wormhole will always remain synchronized as seen by an observer passing through the wormhole, no matter how the two ends move around. This means that an observer entering the younger end would exit the older end at a time when it was the same age as the younger end, effectively going back in time as seen by an observer from the outside. It's a lot to take in. You really gotta listen. So basically, one significant limitation of such a machine is that it's only possible to go as far back in time as the initial creation of the machine. So you wouldn't be able to go back to a point where the machine didn't exist.
What machine?
A time machine. So you created a time machine. Basically what it's stating is that from that point forward, you would be able to travel forward and to that point, but not to any point previously.
Okay, so a proposed time travel machine using a traversable wormhole.
Right.
It's a wormhole.
That's basically being able to move faster than the speed of light, and
right.
And that, perhaps you could use some type of advanced propulsion system.
I just feel like to know all of this, wouldn't there have something's been performed?
Right. Yeah, people have done experiments for sure. One thing that comes to mind when I hear advanced propulsion system is a UFO, UAP, right?
Yeah.
They can move extremely fast. They seem to be able to move as fast as they want to. So,
and they also just disappear.
That's right. So, are they able to create a wormhole and then travel, millions of light years away from us?
They can distort the energy around them.
I mean, there's a lot of stories of all types of UAPs just disappearing right in front of people's eyes.
I've seen things disappear in front of me. With my own eye. Like, I've seen it.
Yeah, I
But it
mean
was
that's
just a light. It's not like I saw a craft. Well, you've seen.
I've seen, yeah. In the past
Just
year,
a
we've
light
seen a lot
there,
of stuff for
moving,
sure.
and then gone. It's weird.
It's 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 kind of mind blowing. Like it's hard to even think about it being possible.
I always thought this was really crazy. Like, kind of nonsense, really, people talking about UFOs. And because I would look and never had. Nothing ever happened. I never would see anything
until we moved out here.
Yeah, the last year it's been.
And there's been a lot.
I can't deny anything.
I just seen something before I walked in earlier.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't hear you hollering for me. I'm a little upset about it, really. Because we saw something, or you and our youngest daughter saw something.
There's
last
clearly
week?
a lot going on out there that we're not being told about.
Yeah.
And it's not getting enough attention.
Well, it's been getting attention, right?
It's been getting more.
Wasn't there something recently on the news?
Well, this summer, I think Congress did release more stuff on UAPs, and they are renaming a branch of the whatever unit investigates those. I don't know why, but they're taking it a bit more seriously. They are at least they're admitting now that they know that UFOs or UAPs are real. They don't know their origins, what they are. But they're admitting that it could be a threat to our national security.
So they know more than they're going to tell us, too.
Obviously. Always, They're going to keep us in the dark and feed us crap like mushrooms, man.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I mean, we're already being fed crap anyways. Like, the food we ingest.
Right. Yeah, you got to be careful. I've been on a matcha tea kick lately.
Yeah, it's got to go further than that, though. You need stuff like to add minerals to your body.
I've been doing further than that. I was just stating that's something I found that I really enjoy.
It's terrible.
I like to recommend
expensive
that to people.
Eat the way we should, or get
it
the
really
right
is.
minerals.
It's a lot cheaper just to feed yourself garbage, but it's worse for you. And I came across some interesting Sasquatch stories, and I wanted to share one tonight. Because it does have to do with portals. Portals kind of connects. Yeah. Even, we were talking about Mount Shasta a couple weeks ago. And I think there's a lot of portals around Mount Shasta. There's been a lot of people that will just go vanishing like right in front of somebody's eyes. And that's kind of what happens in the story. And I got this story off journalnews.com.ph. I'll post the link in the description so you guys can check it out. But it has several stories on here. And one that I came across that I found very interesting, wasn't extremely long, but it was cool enough to share. Was a story about I don't know if I can find his full name. Alright, I got it. His name's Larry Kelm. And this apparently happened in August of 1980. And this was near Eugene, Oregon. And I guess, how far is that in relation to Mount Shasta? I'm not even sure. It seems like it would be kind of close, right?
I mean, yeah, they're both west from us, out west.
But anyway, he had a curious incident that allegedly happened, like I said, in August of 1980 near Eugene, Oregon. And it's hard to really classify, and it seems to point at a vanishing Sasquatch as a result of some sort of interdimensional portal. So on this day, Larry decided to take a hike along the Malala Indian Trail, which connects...
Pacific Northwest, sorry.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. So this trail connects the ridges of Saddle Blanket Mountain and nearby Oak Ridge. And at some point during this hike, he claims that his surroundings became blurry and a bit overcast, tinged with an odd gray color, despite it being sunny outside. And although it was sunny outside, it seemed as if a shadow had been cast over the land. And in Larry's own words, I was walking along the trail, enjoying the strong breeze and bright sunshine, when in the middle of a step, everything around me started to turn gray and blurry. The only way I can describe it was as if suddenly I was looking through someone else's prescription sunglasses. I finished the step and started another. Every inch I moved forward, the darkness increased, and the gray, blurring turned into a jumble of shapes that made no sense. Then, as suddenly as this had all happened, Larry reports that he seemed to pass through a barrier and that everything returned into focus, but that it was now nighttime and the wind had completely ceased, the air also becoming more humid like a rainforest. Upon looking around himself, Larry found that the scenery had changed in other bizarre ways as well. Instead of the fir trees that had just been around him before, there was now thick, unrecognizable, wild vegetation similar to that of a jungle, and the air seemed very thick and oppressively humid. Even though it was now night and there was no discernible moon in the sky, he found that he could still see everything to some degree, as if there was some mysterious light source casting a faint frosting of light upon the landscape. At this point, Larry claims that the air was pierced by a continuous high-pitched keening sound, which immediately filled him with an unbearable sense of dread. The witness explained the really quite bizarre events that followed his thoughts on the matter. There were no stars in the sky, but there was a diffused light that let me see everything clearly. However, I couldn't tell what the light source was. As often happens when the human body receives a massive dose of adrenaline, the entire incident appeared like it was in slow motion, and even though I was only there for a second or two, I had time to observe my surroundings. The silence was broken by a continuous high-pitched keening sound, and I was nearly overwhelmed with a sense of fear and danger. My momentum caused me to take one more step before stopping in my tracks. It was at this point I heard a whispered, "Gotcha," over my right shoulder. I couldn't tell if I heard it with my ears or inside my head. The word wasn't directed at me, but something said the word quietly to itself. I was so terrified I actually felt my heart stop for a moment. That whispered word is what saved me. I opened my mouth and gasped in a huge gush of thick air and recoiled backwards in the same footsteps I had entered wherever I was. As I threw myself backwards, I looked over my right shoulder. A dark-colored, hairy right hand and arm was reaching for my throat over my shoulder. The hand had pale ivory spade-shaped fingernails. The nails looked clean and almost had a manicured look to them. The thumb was placed lower on the hand than a human's is. Both hand and arm were thin and powerful looking, and both were covered with thick, coarse black hair. I got a good look at it because the thumbnail grazed my neck as I moved backwards. It did not break the skin. As I continued backwards, the hand clutched where my neck had been a split second before and seemed to fade off in the distance as I returned through the portal. I took two more steps backwards, and everything reversed itself from what had just happened. The world around me became lighter, the fir and pines gradually came back into view, and by the third step I was back on Saddle Blanket Mountain. I continued to move backwards in terror. As I did, I observed that where I had just come from was a shimmering oval patch of air about the size of a large door. The woods behind it looked like it was underwater. By the fifth backward step, the shimmering area seemed to just evaporate and everything was back to normal. By then my lungs had nearly burst from the volume of air I had inhaled during the huge gasp I had taken. My body felt like it was on fire from the adrenaline surge. I spun around and ran back the trail as fast as my legs could carry me and didn't stop until I reached my truck. I was nearly 2 days getting to that place, and it only took me about 3 hours to get back. It had been a trap, pure and simple. Whatever it was that tried to kill me somehow kept the portal hidden from me on the way in. I didn't actually see it until I was back out again. I had terrible nightmares for years and still haven't come to grips with what happened. Severely shaken, I've read everything I could get my hands on about people who have mysteriously disappeared throughout history and discovered several instances where people had vanished in plain sight of others. The quantum physics people have a theory about parallel universes. They just might be right. So that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, this dude almost stepped right out of existence. I mean, what was it that saved him? The breath of air he took? I can't tell if he's saying that this Sasquatch, like, helped him out of the portal or if he was, like, trying to pull him in, right?
Right? Yeah, but didn't he say that he thought it was a trap?
That's what I'm thinking. That's kind of sort of the vibe I pick up. Because you don't really get he never really tells you where the arm's coming from, right?
Right. I mean, it says that it kept the portal hidden from
If
him
the
the whole
arm
way
fades
in.
away, I'm assuming it's on the other side of the portal that he's coming out of.
Right.
So maybe this thing was trying to yank him through there, man.
Maybe.
Maybe they don't mess with people while they're here. But if they can get you to wherever they're at.
Huh. I
I
don't know.
mean, who knows what's on the other side of a portal, man. You may end up someplace that has no oxygen or something, right?
I don't know. I mean, it could be a pocket.
Or maybe you don't even realize you've walked into
Right.
a portal. Maybe
That's
I've
what I'm
walked through a
thinking.
few
Like,
portals.
it's like still here, but not here.
Right,
It's like
right. It's like a
a veil
parallel
between
universe.
two. Yeah, it's here, but not here. I don't know. Like you
I
can
love it, man.
see through to us, but people can't see in it somehow. Like there's just a veil between the two.
I mean,
I
it
saw a little
seems to
story
be.
on the same thing about. It's not as long as yours. It's just it's a lot shorter, but I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we'll see it, man. Shoot.
It's in the same article that you were reading, but different.
So
form.
this came from journalnews.com.ph.
Okay, so it was another report. A witness called Miss Montanez
That
Montana?
sounds good, yeah.
was
Like
driving
I said.
along a desert highway east of El Paso, Texas, when she spotted a Bigfoot reportedly hunched over a dead coyote. She slowed her vehicle to get a better look at the bizarre sight, and claims that as she looked on the massive beast, it started to sort of sink, as if being absorbed into the ground, until it was completely gone. The witness was convinced that there had to have been a cave there, and that the thing had simply retreated to its dark confines. But when the spot was investigated, there was found to be no cave or other opening in the ground. Curiously, the coyote was gone, and there were no footprints of anything that could have matched the description of what she had seen. Where in the world did it go? No one knows. But evidently, there's a book or something. This Psychic Sasquatch and their UFO connection.
Interesting.
I don't even know how to say this name. I'm not going to butcher it.
Kiwani
There you go. Yeah. Kiwani.
Lapsaritis.
Mm-hmm.
And that may not be right.
It's an odd account. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know. And that one there was I guess a group of hikers or something. But according to one of the witnesses, the group was returning from a hike when a large Sasquatch around 9 feet tall stepped out in front of them to stare for a moment before vanishing right before their eyes. The group insists that it simply dematerialized, blinking out of existence. The witness was reportedly so upset by what she had seen that she did not leave her house for a week and refuses to go back into the area. So yeah, another thing of it just them
Just
disappearing. Yeah,
sight.
I mean there has to be. All these people aren't crazy, right? Like they've had an encounter. They've been something's happened.
I think probably I'd go like I'd say probably what a quarter out of all stories are probably true. Not my thing was only giving it 25%.
Mm-hmm.
Is I think a lot of people get obsessed with the thing, and
Yeah,
I do think
I agree.
people
Fake it.
fake it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they want people to know so bad that they'll do.
And I'm not saying that they're lying about their encounter, but I think that they want other people to know what they know.
Right.
To the point where it makes it worth them to hoax something.
That's not how you go about it, though. Then you just give yourself a bad name.
And I think they almost justify hoaxing.
Right.
Because they know in their own head.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it kind of makes the whole thing look bogus.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think a lot of them are probably hoaxed.
You know what, though? I didn't even think about this until just now. Dematerializing. That makes me think about the thing that I saw down there. It disappeared. It was not there. But I know that I saw something big, huge, and black. Did it dematerialize? Did it go into a portal behind that tree? Something.
I mean, there's always tracks that, the tracks will just dead end.
Well, I mean, I didn't see any tracks there, though. I looked.
No, I actually have never found tracks around here, which is surprising.
I mean, we've seen a few things that look...
Right.
Maybe,
Right.
maybe,
I mean,
but not
all you would have to do would be a little bit cautious, and you wouldn't leave any kind of discernible tracks around.
right.
I don't think.
I
I mean, it adds a lot of credence to what people are seeing. I mean, it would explain a lot. It would explain why we just aren't scientifically there yet.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't understand what's going on. That's why we haven't been able to get the answers we're looking for.
I mean, there's been a lot of stories of like Bigfoot interacting with alien, right? Or like been seen like out of a beam or something from a UFO.
Flying on spaceships, man. You never know. I mean, and then again, what we think of as a spaceship or a spacecraft could just be some type of interdimensional travel.
We have no idea.
Like, we have no way of knowing it all. So,
I mean, I was reading somewhere. It may have been in the same article actually that we just read from. I can't remember. But most people think of aliens as like gray or green.
exactly. Well, another
Bigfoot
thing.
Could be.
It's not only that. I heard something on UFO Witness the other night, and the guy was saying that
They could look.
we automatically assume that an alien would be a human,
Right.
some type of human-like
or egotistical of us
animal-like figure that we already have a preconceived notion for what they look like, and in reality, they could be some kind of formless mass of some. You know, we don't know. So it's interesting. What do you guys think? Are you guys on the? You guys think these things would be flesh and blood, or you guys lean more toward the paranormal, interdimensional type beings? I kind of lean towards that because with these people that research this topic in depth, it seems like it's a repeating issue that they always say. Like, right when they think they're about to make some significant progress, it's like they don't know anything. They're just like completely baffled about them.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do things like disappear in thin air, you know?
Right. All of me wants to believe that it's flesh and blood.
I believe
that
it's something.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to...
I just say it could be flesh and blood and still travel interdimensionally, so
yeah, maybe so. We don't know.
Maybe it's both. I really feel like there's something we're missing, a big something we're missing.
I want to know.
I feel like somebody somewhere would already have some really good footage right now. One theory is maybe these things can detect technology, right?
Okay.
So if you have a digital camera running, they're going to be able to detect your digital camera. I mean, if you think about it.
What, because the energy?
Think about the best footage that was ever captured of a Sasquatch. Yeah. It was shot on, like, what, 18 millimeter film or something?
Yeah, for sure.
That's some old school stuff, man. Mm-hmm. There hasn't been any good footage since people were using modern technology.
So we should go back.
What if you only shot with like 18 millimeter or whatever? Maybe you'd get some real results, you know?
Right. Let's try it.
You know, it's so hard to stay away from technology. It would be hard to I mean, if you think about it, how easy it is to take a SD card, stick it in the computer, upload files to YouTube. You can share it with everybody. If you've got film, you know, not only is that proof that you can show somebody it hasn't been tampered with, but you've also got to go through the process of getting the film transferred over to some type of digital format. Right. It's just the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at one point you didn't have any choice but to do that, but now with the convenience and everything being like right at your fingertips. But if you could get the footage, I mean, that's that life-changing footage we all want to see. I don't have one of those old cameras like that.
We can try to look.
But if I run across one, I might give it a shot.
Yeah. I think we should.
But yeah, where do you guys stand? Do you guys have any cool stories of encounters with any cryptids or UFO sightings? I mean, we would love to hear from you if you guys want to share your stories. Send them to hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. And let us know how you feel about portals and what kind of crazy stuff you guys are seeing out there. I know there's stuff going on every day.
We can't be the only people seeing things in the sky.
Yeah,
recently.
with the stigma attached to all this stuff, I understand that people probably don't talk about it a lot, right?
No, I mean,
we've seen stuff, and I don't think I've told anybody but you and our listeners.
Right.
Who do you call, right? That would be my thing. Is like, I don't know of a number that like we need a number.
There is.
No, we need a number that's like 911, but for UFOs and
so
cryptids.
the Men in Black can show up.
No, we don't need them. We need a number between ourselves somehow, just for a database or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You'd think people would be keeping more careful track of that.
There are people that are, I'm sure.
There are people who diligently record keep. I know that. But as far as where we're at, I don't know how many investigators we have around here. There's a lot
I don't either, but I would like to know.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot.
I would like to keep a record myself.
There are a lot of Bigfoot research groups.
Yeah. A lot.
You got like Eastern Kentucky, Southeastern Kentucky, Northeastern Kentucky, Central Western Kentucky. Yeah. Good grief, people. You don't have to slap a research organization sticker on everything. It's okay to just go out in the woods and do your own thing. But if it makes you feel more official, BFRO the crap out of it. I don't know, man. Anyway, I don't want to drag on too long tonight. It's been like I said, I haven't slept well this week. The storms have really messed with my anxiety. I know you did. I do not, man. One day, we'll have a basement, and I'll sleep in that basement like a baby. But not until then. Not with the crazy tornadoes I see in December.
There wasn't anything like
in December, I think I got traumatized from that a little bit.
There was not here. Well, maybe
it was
a couple.
Close enough, man, and I'll remember that night. Like I was awake, like trying to figure out what I should do. Just watching the radar, like I would have got swept away by one that night.
No.
I mean, that one went on for like, what was it, like?
A long time.
Was it 20 miles? It was long. It was longer. It was like 200 miles, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, the one that touched down in Kentucky. Yeah, that was. What'd they say? Like one of the longest.
And
recorded?
Keep those folks in y'all's prayers and thoughts too, because there was a lot of homes destroyed in December. In Mayfield, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So not only in Jackson, Kentucky, but there's other places in Eastern Kentucky. And we just want to keep those people in our thoughts.
Crazy year for Kentucky, huh? Weather-wise.
You know, they were comparing the getting hit by the floods to being hit by a nuclear warhead.
Really? Same
like
damage.
How it just wiped everything off the map. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So keep those folks in your thoughts and prayers. Don't know how you guys are with your religion. You know, I'm not one to push mine on you guys, so I'll leave that. That's a topic for a different time. We'll definitely keep those folks in our thoughts and prayers. Now, you guys have a blessed weekend. Be safe out there. Email us, hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. We'd love to hear your stories. We'll gladly share them with everybody. And next week, we'll do our best to actually film, right?
Yeah. We're trying to get us some...
I'm okay with the way it is right now. I'll be completely honest. Like, we could have just slapped up 2 GoPros and, like, film right here. But if you want to get a spot set up nicer than this one, I don't think you can do it, but you can try.
Yes, I can. You're mean.
I'm not mean.
Oh, goodness.
Anyways, it's been nice hanging out with you guys.
Always.
If you guys dig the paranormal and the supernatural, the unknown, the mysterious,
Come hang out again with us next weekend.
hit that subscribe button. Don't miss our weekly uploads. We're here every Saturday. If you're hearing this, we recorded it last night, so it's really Friday. So you guys have a blessed weekend. And if we don't see you before next week, we'll see you next weekend.